Some stories aren't written in books. They're carved into the land itself, and this is one of them. Paul Harvey once said, "And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, 'I need a caretaker.' So God made a farmer." If you've ever known a real farm, you know exactly what he meant. On the 8th day, when the fields were still wild and the soil still stubborn, God looked down on the Ohio Valley and needed someone strong enough to turn the earth and gentle enough to raise a family on it. So he made a farmer, someone who'd rise before the sun, feed the livestock, hitch the team, and still make it to church on Sunday. Someone who'd give more to the land than the land ever gave back. And in 1920, on farms just like this one, you can see that life exactly as it was lived, miles from the nearest paved highway, far from the city lights, before most farms ever saw an electric line, at a time when the first machines showed up to help, but not replace, the hands in these fields. This film is a window into that world, a single day captured on an Ohio farm when the frontier was fading, but the frontier spirit was not. This is an all-original narration written in the spirit of Paul Harvey and inspired by his iconic tribute, "So God Made a Farmer." I'm Rowan, and this is OTRA Legends. Before the day truly began, the farm was already awake. Long before the first tractor coughed to life, you'd hear the steady rhythm of chores, the scrape of a stall door, the clink of a milk pail, the low murmur of a man talking to his team, like old friends. Morning chores weren't tasks, they were the first promises of the day. Out here, sunrise wasn't a beginning, it was a checkpoint. You were supposed to be half done by then. They'd walk the same worn path their fathers walked, boots sinking into familiar soil, checking fences, counting livestock, listening for anything out of place. Because a farm has a way of telling you its secrets if you know how to listen. And they did listen, to the weather, to the ground, to the animals, and to the long memory of the land itself. For a farm will speak to you, but only if you've earned the right. There was always work waiting, the kind that didn't ask how you felt, the kind that didn't care about sleep or age or excuses. Plowing, harrowing, sowing, the ancient cycle that held whole families in its hands. And every day was a wager against the weather, the markets, and the mercy of the season. But 1920 brought a new sound to these fields, a gasoline heartbeat, a steel promise, a machine that didn't grow tired when the sun stood high, a machine some trusted and some did not. To some men, it was hope. To others, it was the beginning of the end of the old ways. For the first time, a man could stand beside a machine and wonder if this was the future or just another passing idea. But whether they used the new power or stuck with the old, the work itself remained the same, raw, relentless, and honest. The fields always took their due. Every acre demanded sweat, every row insisted on attention, and the land, for all its beauty, was never gentle. Plowing wasn't just work, it was negotiation. Man against root, man against stone, man against whatever the winter had buried beneath the frost. They'd watch the soil closely, feeling its weight, its moisture, its mood. Because a farm's success lived and died on the character of its dirt. And there, beside the old methods, the new machine kept pace, its iron wheels chewing into ground that had only ever known hooves and wooden beams. It wasn't one replacing the other, it was two worlds working shoulder to shoulder. But a farm wasn't built by one pair of hands. It took a family, each person carving out a place in the long rhythm of the day. Children learned early, not from books, but from watching, imitating, and earning trust, one small task at a time. The women carried half the farm on their shoulders, cooking for crews, washing what the day dirtied, tending gardens that never rested, and keeping the home running on patience and quiet resilience. They held the farm together in ways the fields never recorded, but the family never forgot. Work was not separate from family life. It was family life. No one had to explain duty. You absorbed it the way you absorbed the smell of hay and wood smoke. The tools were simple, but the men who used them were ingenious. They could fix a broken hitch with baling wire, carve a new handle from a fallen branch, or coax one more season out of equipment that should have been retired years ago. And those early machines demanded as much care as a horse. Every bolt checked, every line cleaned, every rattle investigated before a day's work could be trusted to it. They didn't have spare parts on hand. They had grit, experience, and a lifetime of knowing how to keep something running just long enough to finish the job. By afternoon, the land grew heavier. The sun pressed down, the rows stretched longer, and every muscle started keeping score. But no one stopped, just because the day got hard. Hard was expected, hard was ordinary, hard was the price of making a living from the soil. They'd rest for a moment, trade a joke, share a swallow of water, and then fall right back into the rhythm. Their bodies knew better than their minds. Even the machines felt the strain, their engines heating, their gears complaining, their drivers listening for any new sound that meant trouble was coming. And the horses, those old friends, they pushed through the heat with the same quiet, stubborn devotion that had carried families through generations. When the light began to fade, the farm softened. The heat let go, the dust settled, and the long rows carved into the earth stood like a day's ledger, quietly recording what had been accomplished. The animals were tended first, always. Fed, watered, brushed down, given the same respect a man hoped to earn himself. Then the tools were cleaned and stored, because a tool neglected at night would betray you in the morning. And only after everything living and everything needed was made ready for the next sunrise did a farmer finally step inside his home. In 1920, life wasn't easier, but it was clearer. Every day asked something of you, and you answered with your hands, your hope, and the strength you carried quietly. These families didn't build monuments. They built mornings. They built miles of tilled soil. They built generations on the belief that honest work meant something. Paul Harvey said a farmer is someone willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt, watch it fade, and still dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. You can see that truth in every frame of these old films. Grainy, worn, imperfect, and real. We're not just watching history. We're watching the people who shaped the country we inherited. The last breath of the old frontier. The first heartbeat of the modern world. A moment in time when America still lived close to the land and closer to each other. And every frame reminds us that strength isn't born in grand moments. It's built in everyday ones. This was a day on an Ohio farm in 1920. Ordinary then, unforgettable now. And this narration, like the day it remembers, is entirely original, created in a style inspired by Paul Harvey and by his timeless tribute, So God Made a Farmer. I'm Rowan, and this is OTRA Legends. Until next time, happy hunting.